I'm going to need a little help and advice here. Actually, in all the motors I built and everything else, I've never torn down the rear clutch pulley down to the nuts, the brass tacks. And what I happen to do is they have a really neat high puller that, this is the bearing right here that goes in it. So in the case unit, it's pressed in, goes right here. See if I can get that under the light better. And they have a little tool that you have to have a blind bearing puller, but I don't have 50 bucks right now. I'm in between jobs. I just got a job today, so things should start looking up and I can start honoring my commitments. But the reason I'm making the video is I have the bearing here for this side. The other side of the bearing is right here. This is the other one. This one looks okay. My question is, what is the best kind of high-speed grease? If anyone is an expert out there that knows what I can use in here, I need a grease that holds its viscosity or stays heavy at high speed, yet does flow a little bit, because it has to flow through these little holes right here to get on this outside of this shaft. Now I'll show you what the book says. I've never heard of this stuff, but this is the kind of grease that they want you to use. Lithium based grease, Mitsubishi HD3, Hi! Nippon, Seiko, Liponex, Deluxe number 3, Gymnasium. And then we get into the real heavy Japanese words. Idemitsu Coronex number 3, whatever that is. And then Stay Lube MP3141. And we get one that I've heard before, the first name. Bel-Ray Molly Lube. If anyone has ever heard of any of these or knows an American equivalent that I can get, because I just went on Bike Bandit and I found out that you can get, or this is an average price bearing, except it's not in stock and they don't know when it's going to be back in stock, which isn't good. But what I did years ago is I bought a couple of these, and then I tried, well, I'm just going to pull it out and make it work. I couldn't get it out. Now I'll show you how I got this out. Now the other side of this is beaten up a little bit, and that part goes in here and this goes down and gets flush. Okay, what I did is I took a bolt that goes through the crankcase right here, because I have many bolts for crankcase. I got all kinds of shit. Anyway, what I did was I took this upside down and I went through this top bearing, this little tiny one. The deal is with these bearings, these two bearings, is that you have got to remove the large bearing to get to the small one. The small one has one of these clamps inside, and you have to get this out to be able to get your little tool in here to get it out. So with the bearing in like this, let's just say it was in like this, I took my bolt and stuck it in here sideways and started to beat on it. Now since it's not in a bearing race, or the bearing race is in the unit itself, it didn't hurt it, but the damn thing popped out. I'm going, oh, that's cool. So then I started taking the whole thing apart, and I was thinking, you know, my big problem is I've had this brake problem, okay? My brakes on my bike seized up, and I still can't figure out why. There's no grease, there's no broken cable, there's no obvious reason. And that's what gets me, because when I build a bike or when I tear something down, I re-engineer it from the ground up. If there's a problem where it won't idle, there's got to be a reason. If there's a problem where at high speed it stutters, there has to be a reason. And I found all kinds of weird reasons. One thing, and I hate to admit it, was I took my little $150 stator right here. I put it in here. I forgot to bolt it in. I didn't use any bolts. It worked, but eventually it didn't work too well. I forgot to put in the 2 bolts. It was just something I couldn't explain it. Anyway, another thing Honda sells, or BikeBandit.com, if you go on there, what I do is I like to go on there and look at the last year of the Honda, and you look at a SR50 Elite or SA50. I don't know. I think the only difference between the two is basically the decals on the outside of it. That's it. There's nothing performance-wise that I can see any different outside of that. But you can buy this piece right here, and it's a nice heavy machine piece, part of the clutch pulley, the rear clamshell. This is one half, that's the other. You can buy this piece with the bearing in it and the other bearing and this in it right here for like $45. That's a good price when you're considering half of the money you're going to spend on these 3 pieces, and then you're going to have to install them. So I'll have to go to my other shop and get the bearings. But I have a job. I'm a worker right now, so I don't have time for this childish nonsense. I have to go out and earn my wife money. Yeah.